And with DeepFakes, I would highly encourage families to have a special passphrase that no one knows out there. Because Erica, I mean, if I got a video from you and you're like, Molly, like I'm in super trouble right now, I really need you to send me $1,000. I'm going to say, all right, Erica, what did you have for breakfast, at this conference? And if you're just like, oh, I had a banana muffin, I'd be like, nope, not Erica, yep. Right? But little things like that you can do.
AI isn't the future, it's now. And whether you're in HR, sales, operations, or leadership, the choices you make today will determine whether you thrive or get left behind.
Welcome to the AI Voice or Victim podcast. Y'all, we are live at the AI-Powered Women Conference here at MIT. I am so excited. We have none other than Mae Potter here with us. She is a security and product development executive, y'all, with several really weird career shifts. And those are her words, not mine. Really weird career shifts in her life. So y'all, this is going to be fun. Molly, welcome to the show.
Oh, it's so great to be here. This has been an amazing event, and thanks for having me on.
Can I also tell you why I was like, this is going to be so fun for me, and you're going to laugh when I say it? Because homegirl sends me an email, and I'm like, oh my God, my matron of honor is Molly. And she goes, thank God you said that, because everybody else says their dog is Molly.
Everyone's got a golden doodle named Molly.
So I was convinced. Like, well, you're my bestie girl. So
awesome.
Tell me a bit about you, your background, why you're so excited about AI.
Yeah. So right now, AI really is like this new revolution. And where are we going to play in it? What are we going to do? I actually started my career off in aviation. So I was a flight test engineer in the Air Force, flying in the back of F-16s, testing all the cool new technology.
Total badass is what you're trying to tell me.
Yes, well, used to being in a very male-dominated field and rolling with it and hitting all the punches. And in 2013, I left the military and had no idea what I was going to do. Like, I worked at a running shoe store. So I went from flying an F-16 to like selling running shoes. And I was like, what am I going to do with my life? And I fell into high tech. So I worked for a very large tech company and then kind of evolved my career in fixing like messes, like organizational chaos and mess, and anything that just needed structure to it, I would just go do it. So the jobs that no one else wanted to do is where I fell into in like large tech. And wherever there's security, there's usually a mess. And so therefore, about four, maybe 5 years ago, I started becoming a security leader. And I use it very loosely because I fell into security because it needed organizational cleanup. And then I ended up going to another very large like cloud hyperscaler and leading their security and compliance and realizing, oh my gosh, no one really knows what they're doing in the age of AI right now. And so it's all about just figuring things out as you go along in life. And so I've had all these weird career pivots, and it's all just been because there's been opportunities where there's been a void and a lack of leadership and no one to really organize it.
Oh my gosh, yes. And you have talked about an oh shit moment.
Yep.
An oh shit moment where you felt like an AI victim. You want to talk about that?
Yes.
All right, tell me what happened.
So there I am, VP Mae Potter, security and compliance for a very large, like Fortune 100 tech company. And I'm sitting with who I consider like my work husband at the time, and he's running infrastructure. And our boss has mandated that we do AI, right?
Get out there, go do AI.
Go do
some AI.
Go do AI. But there was a cloud product that could come in and really help us with optimizing cloud costs, which is a huge driver for AI. And I'm sitting there and I'm talking to this product company, and it all seems great. And I'm like, I don't know what questions to ask. Like, I know the basic cybersecurity. How do you manage access? Do you have a SOC 2 Type 2 certification?
Right,
but oh my God, like I don't know what to ask. I don't know what to ask all of these products that we are bringing into our state. And I look over at my other executive partner, right? And he's like, And he's got 30 plus years in like this industry. And he's like, you're doing a good job. Like, I don't know. And I thought, oh my God, I am sitting here and I have no idea what to ask. What do I do? And so that was the moment where I was like, okay, I got to go figure this out. AI is fundamentally changing the entire landscape of cybersecurity. What we have been doing is not going to take us forward. And I don't know what to ask. And so instead of going and just leaving it at that, I hired an executive coach, probably the only person that I could actually say is an expert in AI, Dr. Funda Guns, 25 years, PhD in the subject. And I said, I'm hiring you. You need to teach me like the technical ins and outs of AI so that I at least know the basic questions to ask. And then I just need to pull my full network together. And then I started realizing there was no complete set of questions. There was no standard framework out there, right? This is the wild, wild west for cybersecurity. And oh, by the way, the frameworks that are popping up right now that normally cybersecurity experts would like lean on, they start to contradict each other. So it's getting really, really interesting. And that's when I decided, okay, I'm going to go be a voice in this space as we figure this out together.
Oh my goodness. It makes me think a little bit of like Facebook and how it started as this cute little fun way for college kids to stay connected and now is like being accused of, you know, getting the President Trump elected and all these other things and has become this big thing. And you've got Mark Zuckerberg in Congress and doing this, that, and the other. And I feel a little bit like that with AI, where it's like, okay, chat, it's so great, it's so cool. And everybody's leaning in and it's just growing into something at a rate that we can't yet control it in the way that we like to. And need to.
And the whole new surface of AI is also a whole new surface for attackers. And I don't want to be doom and gloom about it, but we just need to be very aware of a shifting landscape also means shifting cybersecurity concerns, not only for society, but also our personal selves and how we view the world, and knowing what's real and what's not, and social engineering, and things that used to take very sophisticated hackers. You kind of think of them as the guys in the hoodies with their like Monster Energy drink in the basement, like typing away, is that can now be done in a very, very simplistic way. And then nation state actors, I mean, those are in industries like professional hacking. And on the AI level, oh my gosh, it just scales everything from social engineering down to the deepest bowels of like the NSA type of level. Yeah.
So let's go a little deeper on that. Let's talk a little bit about how AI is transforming the way companies think about cybersecurity, both for the better and for the worse. What are you seeing?
What I am primarily seeing is that very large companies are saying we're doing security for AI, and then they don't have policies in place. And I mean, I'm talking Fortune 100
companies.
Kind of like
crossing your fingers and just hoping nothing goes wrong.
Right. Like, how do you use AI? But the security and these very large security companies that have also focused on supporting enterprises are built for what we've been doing, which is really react, respond, rather than, and it's kind of more of a discover and then you patch something, where it really needs to shift towards predictive, right? And being more proactive in that predictive model. And so the companies that are starting to adopt more of the predictive, I think are going to have a much further advantage and an edge, where a lot of legacy companies are still stuck in the mud with, we have this legacy security organization. This is how we've been doing detect and respond in a very reactive way. And they're really pushing for, we've got to get all of our AI features out, rather than looking at, well, how do we balance the security and tech debt with that? And the companies that are looking at strengthening their security with the features are driving customer trust at a much greater adoption rate. But those are more of the smaller companies. Those are the ones that you're starting to see come up really, really fast. Like, they're doing it in a very different way because they've been able to reshape and reframe.
Like smaller companies can move faster. Those big ships are harder to turn.
Right. So it's that double-edged sword, right? So AI is making it so smaller companies can actually have a stronger security posture because they can adopt all these tools. But then some of the larger companies are still like turning a barge. And the last company I worked for was a massive tech hyperscaler company. And just seeing the scratching of the heads and security and some of these meetings, I thought, oh my gosh, like this is a really big, oh shit, light bulb moment for me.
I can imagine. So we know AI gives us speed. We know it gives us scale.
Yep.
I use it, you use it, but it does open up blind spots.
Yes.
So what are some of those blind spots that you are seeing? What are those hidden risks that we need to be aware about?
Yeah. And again, it's like knowing the ingredients that's in the bread you're about to eat. So agentic AI is really about the architecture. So the more that you know about what's in your solutions and that architecture, the more you're going to be able to protect it, and the more you're going to be able to understand when things go awry. So it's really about knowing the recipe. So what's in it? What are you consuming? And I also tell people that security is a lot like playing on the playground. So you have a sandbox. Who's invited in the sandbox? Who's not? So access is huge for that. So maintaining access and identity, like knowing where your toys are stored for the right level of kids on the playground as well. Where's your data stored? Who needs access to it, right? We don't want to give machetes to 5-year-olds. Right? So think about think about like your data and where it's being stored. And also, I think being really kind to people during this time. Security can have a tendency to beat people over the head.
Well, and I think it's scary too, because nobody wants to do the wrong thing.
Exactly.
But they find that they're often like, they do it.
And so if you are really vulnerable as a leader to say, we are all figuring this out together. I'm not going to beat you up. We got to just figure this out. And it's not just the security teams, like it's everybody's responsibility. And we got to work together on this cross-functionally, because if HR wants to use this and it's going to be personal data, and then finance wants to use this, the security team and the engineering team needs to network that together. So what I am seeing from the landscape shift is when you start looking at the different layers of agentic, there's all sorts of crazy things that can happen. It's loss of control, it's hallucinations. And even I think last week or the week before, we're seeing even with Gemini, hidden text prompts in images that then get consumed, and then the basically the poison injection prompts will ask the hackers to send your Gmail information and your calendar. So what you're connecting to. So again, that's access. What are you as a leader going to allow access to? And what is that risk that you're willing to consume? So access, knowing what's the recipe is, and understanding your vendors and where they come from, asking those hard questions that I didn't know how to ask before, right? What are you doing for security, right? How often are you updating your model? What data are you using? Are you purchasing someone else's data? To like understanding these really basic things will actually go a long way.
It's so interesting to me too when we're thinking about this, because usually when you have a new tech come in, it impacts one department or maybe two, and then the IT department, because they're in charge of all those things. And you involve security too, because we're all good. Yeah. But this is something that encompasses the entire organization. Yep. And so I'm a big fan of bringing HR in at the top of it, because it's also this whole change management thing that we have to get people on board with. But it's also the security thing. Yes. It's not just, hey, this is our tool. It's how are we using it? What's okay to use it? What's going to
Who's using it?
Who's using it? All of the things you need to think about. I love that. All right. The other thing I really wanted to ask you is with individuals, right? Because I hear from people like my mom, they are so terrified anytime a piece of their data is given out. Right? Then you've got the other end of the spectrum where I'm like, my data's everywhere already. So how do we put that individual back in the driver's seat so that they know how their data is being used? They know what they should be thinking about before they click, oh yeah, it can track me anywhere. Well, what do we do?
So we're living in a digital age. Your data is out there. So even if you think no one has my data, I'm sorry, they have your data. And so you also have to just be aware of what you think you're sharing. Even things like your writing tone can be then multiplied into other LLMs, and we're off to the races. And so when we start thinking about deepfakes, when we start thinking about even just all the chatbots that are out there that you're putting in, so you're talking to a chatbot at your bank, well, you got to start thinking about where that data is going to be used. It's about having those critical conversations with your family. And I tell people to actually take an AI inventory. I actually know what AI my family uses, right? So that it is all interconnected. So as a family, my husband's an architect, right? He has his systems. I have mine. Are we combining them together? Are we not? Is he using this for work? Is he using this for personal? What am I using? And then also teaching the critical thinking I've got a 6-year-old daughter. So she asks questions to chatbots. But what questions are we actually asking? And how does that reflect back on our family? And with deepfakes, I would highly encourage families to have a special passphrase that no one knows out there, right? Because Erica, I mean, if I got a video from you and you're like, Molly, like I am in super trouble right now, I really need you to send me $1,000. I'm going to say, all right, Erica, what did you have for breakfast, at this conference? And if you're just like, oh, I had a banana muffin, I'd be like, nope, not Erica, yep. Right? But little things like that you can do. So it's out there. How are you responsible with it? And it's also just being a good human. What are the things that you're going to teach your teenage kids that they should and should not do from even a social engineering perspective? Because now we have to think about social engineering as well on all of this. So have those conversations, know what AI you're using, know as a family what you're willing to put out there and what you're willing to let the world learn on about you. And what are those things that are never, ever, ever going to hit a digital platform that's only between you and your spouse, you and your kids, and make sure that that's in the back pocket at all time.
Yes. I love the idea of a safe word, but I've got to tell you this story.
Okay.
So the other day, a mom who lives in my neighborhood that I don't know super well, but she lives in the neighborhood, so well enough, needed me to pick up her kids. So I was like, sure. She goes, here's the safe word. They'll trust you after that. And I was like, cool. So the school gets everybody in my car because it's carpool pickup and there's like 6 of them in there. And these kids don't know me very well. They know all the other kids in the car, so I think they feel a little safe.
Yeah.
And I'm like, the safe word is, and they look at me like, what are you talking about? Because ain't nobody used that safe word in 27 years. And I'm like, oh, Lord. So make sure your kids know what the safe word is on a regular basis. You can't teach them once and walk away. I love that. Okay, I want to talk a little bit about leadership. I'm going to take a little left turn here because I know so many leaders are overwhelmed with AI. I know me as not a techie person, not a cybersecurity person. It definitely overwhelms me because, maybe I accidentally put in client data. I don't know. Like, what are those immediate steps that can help you get comfortable, reclaim your voice, and really understand the risk?
I love a good old SWOT analysis. I don't know. Like, there's just something about starting with a basic assessment. Start with a basic assessment of your organization. Start with the basic assessment of the tools they're using, of their digital interfaces, the conversations, the key meetings, the threats to AI, to your current business. Like, just lay it all out and involve your team, right? And I think starting with an assessment, you'll start learning very quickly what are the big gaps from an AI risk perspective, or even just a business risk perspective. Because if you have a business, I hope that you already know right now at least what your key business risks are. So start protecting that. It will evolve over time, and there will be new risks that will show up in the digital landscape. But if you at least know your current business risk and your biggest opportunities, just start there, right?
See, I think most people are only honing in on the opportunities for a lot of it because they're like, it's so exciting. It's going to scale. We're going to grow. We're going to go fast, fast, fast. And they either minimize or they completely ignore them. I mean, How do we get those people? I mean, I know you said do the SWOT analysis, but like to just, I know it's going fast. I know it's exciting, but slow down.
Yeah. And I as the security practitioner and signature authority in an organization that was like, go, 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 go. And I was like being left in the dust. I started really partnering with other stakeholders in the company that had a bigger voice up to the board, where we could start reporting digital risk in a different light. Working with the CIO, I had a great relationship with the last two CISOs as well. So I was in the product team, but I was reporting to the CISO. I see this as a huge risk. And this isn't just a risk in a cloud product. It's a risk across the board that we don't have a risk framework for this. We need to go do this and go build that out. Talking to the audit committee, I had a great relationship. Most people want to stay away from internal audit. I loved working with internal audit because it's a big stick that you can carry. And so when you start working with all of these partners, you also start seeing how the interdependencies across your organization tie back to security, and you at least highlight it as a risk. Now it's up to the business to decide if they're going to do something about it or not. But when we started gaining momentum on this is now a new risk vector, we need to start making sure our tools and our infrastructure, and as we're looking at our tool chain across the board, how do we integrate that as a new risk factor? You at least get the conversation going. So it does not mean that it has to be perfect, but it gets the conversation going when you start with the reporting factors and you start with those with the tool chain, and you start with those with customer data, and you start having conversations with customers that now are like, but how are you securing your AI? And I tell you what, customers drive it. So if you can't answer basic questions on customer trust, it's going to force you to really think very long and hard about what you're doing, not only internally with your own operations and where things are being developed and maintained, but also the product itself and how you actually secure the product for the customer trust.
You need to take the time now.
You have
need to do it now,
right,
so that in the future, you're not having to redo it all.
Internal operations, take an assessment. Know what your customers are asking, but also help them along the way.
Yes.
Right? Let the customer be the voice. And your customer should also help guide your roadmap and what you're going to be doing and to go ahead with this. So don't just assume. I saw a lot of features being released that customers I don't think are going to use. And then those tend to rot in the infrastructure and they don't get maintained and they don't get care and feeding and they become big security cysts.
Yes. I love that you're bringing that up because we had a conversation earlier that really talked about understanding what the client wants and needs and is looking for and paying attention to that. And guess what? You can use AI to help you with that.
It's a great augmenter for it. And it's also a great way, as I said, that double-edged sword, right? Smaller organizations can now have a lot more comprehensive security coverage.
Yes.
They call it SOC in a box, Security Operations Command, right? Like in a box. And they're becoming more predictive. So get on that bandwagon. Go do it, right? It all connects. And is it perfect? No, but is it great progress as to where we were? As someone that's been a security leader, it's always been reactive, and you never know when things are just going to hit the fan at 1 o'clock in the morning on a Saturday night, which they always do during vacation. Now I could be more predictive.
I was like, in the HR world, it's always 4:45 on a Friday.
There you go. Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Friday, security is always 8 p.m. It's always at night.
Well, that's when the shit goes down. But all right, what is next for Molly Mae Potter?
Yeah, so I actually just launched a company called Salem CSO, and we are a conglomeration. It's really a partnership-based network of security-minded and leaders that have companies that, how do I put this? We're all in a partner-based organization. So we're a menu. So we'll do the end-to-end tech stack for you for full technology solutions and product solutions, but all with companies that are led by really strong, amazing women with a strong security mindset. And together we partner to put solutions forward that not only customers can trust, but have security and integrity in them, and are also really leading the way with where we're going for compliance and regulatory. So being that vocal voice up front. So that's Salem CISO right now. And some of our partners are in the US. Some of them are overseas. I think it's really important to start getting some of your overseas forces like really engaged in that conversation. So it's not a North America-based conversation for security, and really empowering women leaders globally in the security space for AI.
I love that. Yeah. Oh my gosh. Molly, thank you so much for being here today. Y'all, we are live at the AI Powered Women Conference here at MIT. Thank you so much for joining us for AI Voice or Victim. We'll see you next time. Thanks for joining us on AI Voice or Victim. If you want to stay competitive in the AI age, start now. Take one insight from today's episode and put it into practice in the next 24 hours. Make sure to follow us, share your thoughts, and subscribe for more actionable AI insights. See you next time.